Hi everyone, I'm Glenn Vitale and I'm here just to give you an update on the 20 car and the progress that we've been doing during the pandemic. So back in March, right before everything got shut down, we took the 20 car to Palm Beach International Raceway for a SCCA race, and Dario was driving. So within the first 3 laps of the qualifying session Saturday morning, while Dario was driving, the transmission failed. Literally came apart in the car, and Dario came coasting to a stop in pit lane. Upon further investigation, we saw that the MT82 that's been in this car for 2.5 seasons and seen 2 engine changes finally gave up the ghost. We decided at that point that we were going to upgrade it to the 3rd gen MT82. A lot of people ask, well, why not put a Tremec in it? And we did look at that option, but we wanted to stick to a transmission that majority of the people out there were running in their cars. And the 3rd gen MT82, which comes in the 2018 and newer Mustangs, GTs, and EcoBoost, was the answer to that. So upgrading to the 3rd gen MT82 with this car requires a different clutch. It requires a clutch, a twin disc clutch, like what you find in the 2018 and newer cars. So we tapped our friends over at McLeod Racing and they sent us a brand new RXT twin disc that's rated for 1,000 horsepower. Now that's way more horsepower than what this car is producing, but it should work out really well for the kind of abuse that it's going to see on the road course. So this weekend, we're getting ready to take the car to Sebring. Dario's going to be driving again, and we'll see how well the RXT holds up to the rigors of racing around Sebring, which is one of the most grueling tracks there is in the United States. Some of the other changes that we did was we added a surge pump. Now the surge pump really is not going to have much to do with what we're doing this weekend at Sebring, but what we found when we race at tracks like Daytona and Homestead, where the car is under a high G load in the banking, once the fuel tank gets below a half a tank, we get fuel starvation issues. The fuel pump can no longer pump the fuel to the injectors and the car starts cutting in and out. The surge pump will resolve that. The surge pump is going to make sure that the injectors are constantly getting the fuel pressure that's required to maintain the car's speed and RPM that we're doing around the banking. Places like Daytona, we're seeing anywhere from 150 when we enter the banking to 170 when we're coming out of the banking, and we're buzzing the motor at about 7,500 to 8,000 RPM. So that's a lot of load that the motor's on, and we need to make sure that it doesn't have any kind of fuel starvation issues. The surge pump is going to fix that. So we're excited to go to Sebring this weekend to both see how the new twin disc McLeod clutch works with our MT82 3rd gen transmission, and also make sure that the surge pump doesn't have any leaks or any issues on race conditions that we'll be seeing this weekend. One of the other interesting things about racing this weekend at Sebring is we actually have a tropical storm off the coast of Florida heading north. It's going to be bringing us a lot of rain anticipated for this weekend, so Dario will have to not only deal with some of the new components in the car, but we'll most likely have to put the Steeda suspension to the test and make some adjustments for the wet conditions that we'll be encountering.